Now, I want you to be honest with yourselves for a moment. When you picture the Arab world, I suspect I know what comes to mind. Oil wealth, desert, tradition. Perhaps, for some of you, a suspicion of extremism. A region we're told is resistant to reason, to progress, to science itself. What if I told you that 2 out of every 3 named stars in our night sky, Aldebaran, Betelgeuse, Vega, carry names given by Arab astronomers, centuries before a single telescope existed in Europe? The very foundations of our modern science, mathematics, medicine, chemistry, engineering, were laid by scholars from that same world, in an age we rightly call a golden age of Islam. In 2016, the International Astronomical Union made it official, formally standardizing dozens of these Arabic names as the permanent designations we still use today. And there was a word reserved for their rarest minds. We call it, today, a polymath, one who masters not one field, but several. Most of history's polymaths mastered 3, perhaps 4. These men mastered 7, 8. Let me show you where it begins.
Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizm, founder of Algebra and Algorithm, a mathematician, an astronomer, geographer, and many in one person.
The one who founded algorithms, every app on your phone, every AI model running right now, all of it runs on one word, algorithm. That word and the man behind it trace back to the Arabic-speaking world, to the 9th century, a period historians call the Golden Age of Islam. His name was al-Khwarizmi, a Persian scholar in Baghdad. At the House of Wisdom he wrote Al-Jabr, the world's first systematic method for solving equations. Centuries later, Europe borrowed his method, and his name became algorithm, algebra and algorithm both born from one scholar's book. Centuries later, Europe borrowed his method, and his name became algorithm, algebra and algorithm both born from one scholar's book. In Cairo, another scholar was rewriting the rules of how we know anything at all.
Ibn al-Haytham Abu Ali al-Hasan ibn al-Haytham, Latinized as al-Hazn, the father of modern optics, author of Book of Optics, Mathematics, Astronomy, Physics, Engineering, Philosophy, Theology.
Every camera lens, every telescope aimed at deep space, every experiment run today under the rule, test it before you trust it, traces back to one idea. In 11th century Cairo, Ibn al-Haytham got arrested in a darkened room and built the world's first documented camera obscura, proving light travels into the eye, not out of it. He insisted every theory be tested, not just believed. His Book of Optics reached Europe centuries later and helped shape how science itself would be done. Observe, test, prove. 600 years before Newton, one scholar had already written the rule. One man, confined and alone, had redefined what evidence means. His manuscript would travel for centuries, hand to hand, city to city, outlasting the prison built to silence it. Proof and observation built the sciences, but someone still had to build the place where that knowledge would be taught.
Fatima bint Muhammad al-Fihriya, founder of the first degree granting university, founder of Al-Qarawiyyan Mosque in 857-859 CE in Fez, Morocco, later developed to Al-Qarawiyyan University.
The degree you'd walk across a stage to receive. That wasn't always the standard. Someone had to establish it first, and for the very first time, it was a woman. From that same golden age of Islam, who did it? A model that would spread across the globe until it became the only standard the world recognizes for completing a course of study. In 859, in the city of Fez, Fatima al-Fihri did something no ruler had done before her. When her father passed, she didn't spend her inheritance on herself, she spent it building a school. It grew into the University of Al-Qarawiyyan, teaching mathematics, astronomy, law, and theology, drawing scholars from across the Muslim world. Over 11 centuries later, it has never stopped teaching. UNESCO and Guinness World Records both recognize it as the oldest continuously operating and the first degree granting university on earth, founded not by an empire, but by one woman. The university needs teachers. 400 miles west, In Cordoba, one of them was rewriting the surgeon's toolkit.
Abu al-Qasim Khalaf ibn al-Abbas al-Zahrawi, an Arab physician, surgeon and chemist, pioneered neurosurgery and neurological diagnosis, the first physician to identify the hereditary nature of hemophilia.
Before anesthesia, before germ theory, one physician in Cordoba was already redesigning the surgeon's toolkit, one instrument at a time. Al-Zahrawi documented over 200 surgical instruments he designed himself in a 30-volume medical encyclopedia, forceps, scalpels, tools for childbirth. He pioneered the dissolvable stitch, still used today. His work was translated into Latin and taught across Europe for 5 centuries. 1,000 years later, walk into any operating room and you'll still find instruments shaped by his hands. Cordoba refined the hand 600 miles east on the Tigris. One engineer was about to build the hand's replacement.
Badi al-Zaman ibn al-Razaz al-Jazari, another polymath, scholar, inventor, mechanical engineer, artisan and artist from the Artukid dynasty of Jazira in Mesopotamia.
Al-Jazari worked at the Artukid court in Diyarbakir, designing machines that still seem impossible for his century. He designed elephant clocks, castle clocks, and musical automatons, mechanical bands programmed to repeat the exact same performance on command, again and again. He designed elephant clocks, castle clocks, and musical automatons, mechanical bands programmed to repeat the exact same performance on command, again and again. And buried inside his machines was an invention that changed everything after him. The crankshaft, the same part sitting inside almost every engine built since. He documented every design in one illustrated book, precise enough to rebuild from the page alone. We call it robotics now. He just called it Tuesday. Machines could imitate motion. One teenager set out to understand the machine no one had built, the human body.
Ali ibn Sina, known in the West as Avicenna, physicians and philosophers of his days, whose influence on Islamic and European medicine persisted for centuries. He was named by his students and followers as al-Shaykh al-Ra'is, or the Master Wise Man. The Europeans called him the Prince of Physicians. As a thinker, he represented the culmination of Islamic Renaissance and was described as having the mind of Goethe and the genius of Leonardo da Vinci.
He was a teenager, and he was already out working physicians 3 times his age. By his late teens, Ibn Sina had outpaced the senior physicians in medicine in a royal distillation vessels and glass alembics. He ran chemical calculations across a wall-sized board late into the night. He went into the scrubland outside the city himself, gathering minerals and plants, testing each one by hand before trusting it. All of it went into one work, the Canon of Medicine, a 5-volume system organizing every disease, diagnosis, and drug known to his world. Centuries later, across Europe, students would copy his words by candlelight, a teenager's notes, treated as the highest authority in medicine for 600 years straight. Ibn Sina was 17. 600 years later, the world was still taking its medicine from a teenager's notebook, an algorithm, a university, a surgeon's toolkit, a robot. This is the golden age of Islam, and we've barely begun. There are dozens more of these stories still waiting. We'll keep exploring them, one at a time.